2 days ago, Politico had a really interesting article about healthcare and what the Republicans were going to do if the Supreme Court struck down parts of the healthcare bill or struck down all of it, et cetera. And it was very interesting because of what was in it. Well, first of all, they said here, if the law is partially or fully overturned, they'll drop the bills to keep the popular consumer-friendly portions in place. This is referring to the Republicans, like allowing adult children to remain on parents' health care plans until age 26, and forcing insurance companies to provide coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. Apparently, they believe that ripping these provisions out of the health care bill would be too politically risky. Now, why is that interesting? Because it gives you a great insight into how politics works. So, first of all, the Republicans are like, oh, health care, it's terrible. Oh, my God, under no circumstances should that law be enacted. The minute it is enacted, the first thing that goes into effect was that provision on kids to the age of 26 can actually still be considered kids in terms of being on their parents' health care. Immediately, that provision is instantly popular. So the Republicans are like, damn it! That's why they didn't want it to be put into place in the first place, because once people find out how good it is, well, then they want to keep it. So they're like, okay, since that one already is in effect, fine, we'll keep it. And then the other part that's incredibly popular is the one they fought all along, the pre-existing conditions, covering that. So they're like, now that people know that's coming, they're all excited by it. Damn it, this is why we didn't want to do it in the first place. All right, fine, we're going to do that. Now, they run into a couple of problems. First of all, you can't do this piecemeal. That's why this law was a behemoth in the first place and it took so long to put together. Because if you just tell the insurance companies, okay, you have to cover everybody with pre-existing conditions, they claim, well, then they won't have enough money to be able to justify this if a lot of people are sitting outside of insurance. That's why they put in the mandate. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, and I think there's a lot of nuance to it. But I do understand why you need to take a holistic approach here, and this is unworkable. Just take the popular provisions and go, okay, now the insurance companies have to pay for this. They won't participate. Now, I'm no fan of the insurance companies. I think there should be a government-run option, and I think that it would ultimately work. But here, I think that this is probably too tough on the insurance companies, believe it or not, just to do those two provisions, right? But the Republicans get that the country loves it. And they know that the country is actually progressive and loves the most progressive portions of this bill, right? And then as soon as I read this, I thought, oh, there's no way it's going to last. Why? Not because it's not politically popular, obviously. That's why they did it in the first place. But because the health insurance companies are going to come in and say, are you kidding me? You work for us. No, of course you're not going to get to do pre-existing conditions without a mandate. The insurance companies actually love the mandate. So they tell the Republicans, listen, you use the mandate for any political tricks you like, right? But the bottom line is there's no way we're doing any of this bill if there's no mandate. And what happened? And I love this. So two interesting parts of this. Now Politico has a new article today, 2 days later on this. First of all, it took the Republicans half an hour to backpedal. I read the article and I thought, oh, they're going to backpedal out of this. There's no question. Half an hour later, they're in full backpedal. They're like, Washington, backpedal. Now, the reason I point out the Politico article from today is because they tell you how that happened. And it's really interesting. So they're apparently on these email lists, including, in this case, what they call the Repeal Coalition, referring to repealing health care. But they're not the only ones on the list. The think tanks are also on the list. And remember what the think tanks on the right wing are. They're corporate-run, corporate-financed think tanks that tell the Republicans how to think because they're the ones who pay the Republicans. And everybody on those think tanks are paid bitches of the corporations, right? So the minute this leaked out into the press, and they have it here, it's a great article by Jake Sherman. So people from the Heritage Foundation and people from Grover Norquist Americans for Tax Reform, et cetera, Manhattan Institute scholar, all right in saying, what are you guys doing, Republican politicians? Get back in line. What the hell's the matter with you? Don't you know how much this would hurt the insurance companies? Shut up and make sure you say you're going to repeal the whole health care and not do it piecemeal. And of course, once they got their marching orders, they're robots. They cowards. They say, oh, God, I'm so sorry, John Boehner's staff guy comes out. His name is Dave Schnittiger. And he says, no, we promise, John Boehner will, quote, knock down any proposal that comes out. We're knocking down this leaked, proposal. No way, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. For half an hour, we accidentally went against corporate interests. We promise we'll never do it again. So they have now totally scrapped that. And they're like, yeah, I know those are really popular, and we might lose some elections because we're on the wrong side. But yeah, okay, yeah, no. Goddamn healthcare, goddamn mandate. Yeah, it's all constitutional. We want to repeal the whole thing. Mark my words. There's no way they do it piecemeal, get rid of the mandate, and keep other parts. Because the insurance companies, like all other corporations, still run the place. And there's no way they're going to do any healthcare unless it is mandated that everybody in the country has to be their clients, has to be their customers. And there's no way the Republicans actually dislike mandate. The mandate was their idea in the first place. So it's either going to be nothing. That's why they call the whole movement the repeal movement. Repeal the whole thing or have the whole thing, but there's no way you're going to do something in the middle because the insurance companies won't have it. Okay? So that's why the Supreme Court also is, by the way, less likely to do, well, okay, we get rid of the mandate, but we keep the rest of the law. Because if they did that, and now they're not as connected to the corporate machine as the rest of them are. They are, but it's looser, that connection. So Justice Kennedy is not on a listserv where he gets his marching orders. So we don't know what Justice Kennedy is going to do. But if they just repeal the mandate and leave the rest of the bill, then this issue gets much messier. Because that's when the Republicans will foam at the mouth. No! Because they actually want the mandate. If you take the mandate away from them, they're like, no! Then it's only the parts that actually give people rights and don't give money to the insurance companies. No! They'll lose their shit over it. They'll be like throwing it up against the wall. They don't want that. You think they want that? You think they'll celebrate if the Supreme Court takes that middle road?